basically Laurie's book, and we're also talking about leadership. This is our segment of the masterclass. We do this every month, focusing on women leaders from She Wins Network. And we have a conference that we do every year focused on empowering women through their journey. We use the proceeds to help women veterans. But I've watched Laurie grow through her journey, and just seeing her, she is a powerhouse. She is, when it comes to government contracting, to leadership. And one thing I can say, she always tells me, show up. It doesn't matter, show up. That's the key thing. She's like, let me tell you something. If I don't tell you anything else, show up. And she is a fellow woman veteran, Marine veteran, amazing contractor, mentor. She stands for women in general for equal opportunities, and she also stands for women veterans having equal opportunity for set-asides for government contracting. And she sat on many boards that I've seen her on, and she's also sat in front of Congress fighting for us out there. So, and through a lot of the different obstacles she went through, she was still in the game. She was still getting the hustle on. Even though she was going through a lot, she still said, show up, and she showed up. And she is the example of what being fearless is. And she has an amazing book right here called As My Leaders Go, So Do I. And it's a phenomenal book, and it goes through her journey and how she pulls from her past, and it engages her leadership, how to stand tall in a room of a male-dominant environment, how to be authentic, own who you are, and never be ashamed of your story, and how her connection with God took her to conquer all these different obstacles, and she still continued to win. No matter the devil tried his hand, but she still continued to win. And this is a book that any woman, not even just women, anybody can read and be inspired. One point in the chapter right here, which I love this as definitely like a mantra for a leader. If you go to, if it's on page 93, if you all have the book, page 90, things that were chiming in your head, you said, you know, when people let you down during the time you were doing your, doing partnerships and they were playing around with the money, you know, when we deal with them government contracts, it's not a game. You know, you put yourself in it to get started, get your feet wet, and you trust people to do the right thing. And some people practice good business. And from that one experience, even though you said you took it as a blessing, but at the same time you said, I'm learning from this as a leader. And I don't ever want, if I partner with somebody else, I want to do good business. And I want to make sure that my employees know what a good leader and good business is. And you said, I am the head, not the tail. I am above and never beneath. I am the lender and not the borrower. The wealth of the wicked is being transferred to me. Do not fear, for God is with me. God will make a way to escape. No weapon formed shall prosper against me. God will never leave me nor forsake me. Be angry, sin not. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now that was big right there.
Yes, that's my walking and talking. I mean, those things just spill out. I mean, and I'm quick to tell people, don't ask me where that is in the Bible, but I know it's in there. You know, I'm not a scripture. Proverbs, this says that. Job's, this says that. I don't know that. But what I do know is that those principles are God's principles and that they're in the Bible. And I use them still today. And I suspect for the rest of my life, I will, because, you know, one thing that I am learning is that, you know, the enemy going to continue to have a focus on me because I'm always trying to do the right thing.
Exactly.
I'm always trying to do the right thing because it makes me feel good, you know, when I'm doing that, as opposed to trying to find any means to come against another person. Even in that challenge as women, how we can be of being jealous of each other. Now, I found out that there's more men that's jealous of me than women, but nonetheless, it's been really interesting experience, but it's just been the truth. But nonetheless, I mean, you know, that can flare up on you. And now I've gotten to the point I speak to that. You know, let this mind be in me, which is also in Christ Jesus, which means I have no reason to be jealous against Erica, against you, Moji, against Anna. I see another young lady, April. We supposed to just applaud each other and promote each other and watch each other go and grow. So yeah, biblical principles, if you can't get them out your mouth when you need them, you suffer the consequences.
Exactly. And I always talk about mantras when I talk with the women. And this mantra right here is something that she's carried through her journey as a leader through the veteran environment and her corporate America environment. And just it's brought her through. And she knew that she had to stand stern when it came to doing business transactions and saying that, here, look at me for who I am, not just as a woman, but I am skilled in my field. I know what I do, and you need to pay me what I deserve. And one thing I do find as women leaders, sometimes we undervalue ourselves. And we second guess ourselves, wondering that, oh, maybe somebody's doing better. Maybe they're questioning me, or almost this imposter syndrome. Have you ever went through that, any of those challenges?
Yes, definitely. And it really, I want to go as far back of when I was in high school.
Yes.
Professionally. I found myself always getting the outfits that the designers really wanted to showcase. And in many cases, I was the token Black model. You know, back in those days on Magnificent Mile, there were major department stores like, you know, Saks Fifth Avenue, Marshall Fields, you know, but these were major big stores. Now Magnificent Mile is full of all these little boutiques, but I've modeled at Neiman Marcus. I've been in all those stores because fashion shows were the things to do back in we're talking about the 70s. But I had to grow up and be in the military to realize that the reason why I was not well liked on top of being African-American is because I always, and I'm almost saying, it doesn't matter who the designer was, they wanted me. They like, this one right here, she needs to wear this outfit. And it would be like the signature outfit of the fashion show. But I had the appeal. I had the height. I had the no breast back then. I had the skin, you know, I just had the look that they wanted, right? And yet, at the same time, I just wanted to be friends with the rest of the models. But they didn't embrace me. They didn't let me in. They didn't let me in. So I was always by myself at these fashion shows. I can get a little emotional thinking about that. I was always in this corner, you know, and the rest of them over there, you know, and I was just totally ignored. I mean, other women of color could be over there. Meaning the Hispanic women that may have been in the shows, the Asians, but I was not one of those ones that was selected. So that has been something I've known since I was in my 20s, because in the Marine Corps, you know, you're much of a team. So you have a little underlying current of that. But I was such a lifter upper, if that's such a word, such a charger, somebody that was always being there for my, you know, for my comrades. I ignored anything if it was there. But yes, you know, of course, in the corporate, you know, and I'm the uneducated one at that time. I didn't have my degree until I was 50 years old. So a lot of my growth of coming out of the military and going through the low end of jobs and administrative work was based off the fact that I didn't bring a college degree to the table. But was I a leader in the house? Was I put in charge of certain things that other folks would have loved to do? Was I the point of contact for the president CEO? Yes. And do you think they like that? No. And they would complain about it. And I remember one conversation, a president CEO sitting at the table with all his vice presidents and me. He says, Laurie's my executive assistant, and we are the yin and the yang. So if she comes to you and says anything, you need to know that it also came from me. And they did not like me for that, of course. But nonetheless, I did my job and said, thank you, sir, for trying to help clean it up a little bit to make it easier. Because I let him know, you know, they're giving me a hard time. Nobody want to listen to words come out my mouth. So yes, I think in general, we deal with that as women. And then when you get over, of course, into the land of being a woman of color, then it can be heightened a little bit to the negative as well.
Exactly. And for the women that are just joining us right now, this is our master class series with Laurie Sayles, and she has an amazing book called "As My Leaders Go, So Do I." I mean, this book took me through a journey. There were some points I'm like, "You sure you ain't my soul sister?" Because some of your life was my life, girl.
I look forward to hearing some of that part of this conversation.
This is raw. This is as real as you can get. It's showing you a connection with God, being authentic and true to your story. And today, one of you ladies will win a book with some questions that we give you. And she is an amazing leader. She is a veteran. She is the CEO of Civility Management and Solutions. I mean, they've gotten billion-dollar contracts and more. But we're projecting that in the future. But million-dollar contracts and more, right? I mean, this woman has gone through, and I've been through a bad divorce. Several women we know, you know how it gets. She's been through a bad divorce. She's been through trying to find herself, and she's taken all of the life lessons and created and molded this amazing leader that she is now today, mentoring women and standing for women, going to Congress for women and women veterans. Like I said before, every time I see Laurie and she has these amazing glasses, she know I like bling bling too. When you see Laurie, she got them glasses on, right? And she said, "Show up." No matter what it is, just show up, because you're only one blessing away from that person that you're going to connect with to take your business or whatever you're trying to do to the next level.
Thank you for saying that. That's good stuff. I'm glad to know it's synced in, because you are definitely showing up. I now see you everywhere. So you are doing it. That's what's up.
Laurie, and then we're going to open it up to some ladies, because I know sometimes as ladies, as women, as leaders, you know, sometimes we doubt ourselves, or we deal in a male dominant environment. So even when you're talking about you actually always being there for your friends, not just the military, when you were young,
Yes.
you're also a caregiver to one of your brothers and stuff that deals with a disability and stuff. And you've been a caregiver since you were young. And as you continued in your military career, even in the marriage, you know, with the one marriage with him taking care, trying to uplift him, you know, while he was trying to bring you down, you know, and sometimes they say some things that be glittering, we think they sparkle and we think they nice.
Yes. Yes.
But underneath there, you know, somebody is conniving and trying to take you down. And we've all been through that. And the one thing, there was one point in this book where you were going through it, and you were going through the divorce and dealing with like domestic violence and all kinds of different things. And you had to leave the house, and you had these sticky notes all over the place. And you were saying like, don't give up, you know, and putting all these positive affirmations on there to keep yourself, reminding yourself that you got this, you will win, that this is only a storm and you will get over it. And for the women out there, some people go through some detrimental times and they think that it's over. Yeah. Give them some advice going through, you know, some of those storms.
And it is a mindset. And you just said it by saying they think it's over. Thinking that way, then you pretty much have brought the closure into it being over. And so one of the things that is so important is that you got to love yourself. You know, we can love other people, you know, we can love our husband, we can love our children, our mother and our father, but we must love ourselves and realize that if we don't keep us right, then everything else is a disaster. And so with me going through that fight, I knew I had poured so much into the baby of Civility Management Solutions. I had just basically reached some level of, you know, having revenue, hiring people. And, you know, we got a $1.7 million. 1.7 million, that's no money in this business. I mean, that's like really no money in this business, right? So I'm thinking, this is your trigger? So to have someone be triggered by money and then to come after you, and now you got to go, okay, you have been sitting at a kitchen table, denying yourself, depriving yourself at 50 something years of age, somebody who's used to having a life, just to get here. It's like, no, 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 no. I mean, I fought that. Everything in me was like, no, 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 no. No, this will not happen. I will not be defeated, because I had poured so much into me to be able to keep going when there was really no activity, when there's no money. There's, when I had the @Gmail account, when I was still just growing up, I had to keep reminding myself, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And so to now get to another level, when anybody gets to another level of saying, okay, things are moving along, don't let nobody, and I'm talking mama, father, sister, brother, children included, because the enemy gonna use whoever he can get his hands on. And so you just need to know that and say, I gotta continue to fight for what it is that I've been called to do, whatever that may be. And so using the sticky notes, for example, was positive affirmations. Some of them were biblical scriptures, no weapon formed against me shall prosper was definitely on there. The things that's something as simple as I am ... And then I just look at it and say, I am powerful. And I would end it myself, whatever that moment was that I needed to remind myself, first and foremost, Laurie, you must love yourself. And with loving yourself, that means you got to fight. You got to fight for your life. You got to fight for everything that you stand for that is good. Because let me be clear, another poster that ended up getting put up, the second place I was living now. It wasn't at the first house, second place I'm living, because of somebody that I know through my church. Him and his wife were talking to me, and I was so angry, just angry about how could this actually be happening to me. And this is, I mean, I was like living this Lifetime movie, and I was the co-star, and didn't nobody ask my permission to be in it. I'm thinking, what is really going on with my life? So I was really angry. And he said to me, Laurie, what the Bible said, be angry and sin not. Girl, that thing blessed me. So that post-it went at the door. Right before I stepped out into the world, I saw it. I'm like, okay, because while I was in the house, whatever I felt like I needed to get out, scream, holler, curse even, because I had some words, some sentences didn't come out right if I didn't curse. And that bothered me. I'm like, okay, God, you have to forgive me, but I cannot say this without a curse word, so you can really know, Erica, what I'm trying to say. So I threw them little words in there on time. But, that's fine in the house. Go through it. Cry, wail, pray, call out to God. I mean, I just went through the whole nine. But as soon as I hit that door and had to enter the world, I got to get it together. And so that anger had to be subsided. No matter how angry I am, I need to stay focused on making sure that I don't start operating like the enemy. Because then, this is a lost cause. And not just because I was president CEO, but first and foremost, because I call myself a child of God. I'm going to act a cold fool out here in the street, really saying, okay, God, I'm just like them. I hear you talking, but I'm not listening. I'm not listening. So that would be the first and foremost, is that you have to love yourself, and then you have to seek and consistently look for methods that work for you, that will keep you in the game of keeping your mind right, because that's where the attack really happens, is in your mind. Because once they get control of this right here, ain't no telling what you might run off and go do.
Exactly.
Right, foolish. Because we've all done some foolish stuff. We up in, we just seasoned up a little bit, right, Moji? And got a little old. So some things we just make smarter choices in general. We don't have to go no Bible, we just know some stuff. We've lived long enough. But when we was young, we were just outright foolish and stupid in some of those choices that we made. And so having a place to go where you really can find, and including my book, place to go to say it pays off in the end to do right. I'm telling you, my life today is magnificently different.
Exactly. And I've definitely seen, and
Really.
you're glowing. I just want to tell you,
Thank you.
you're glowing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've seen her through her transition, and it's just amazing. And then one other keynote from her book that she states as a leader, which we have a mutual friend, Michelle S. Jones. She always,
Yes.
you know, my girl, they both of them, they keep it real.
Yes.
She,
Yes,
they,
indeed.
it, is she says, you know, sometimes, you know, you got to keep your emotions when you're stepping in that playing field. You know, we got to boots up, put out, you know, strap on our boots. We're sitting here in front of them men and stuff. Emotions are there, but we have to keep them intact, and we have to make sure that we are stern and we ask for what we want when we want to have a seat at the table. And sometimes we got to
Yes.
create our own seats at the table when it comes to leadership, especially as African women of color or minorities. And going into that transition, we go back into the book, her transition through her life and her childhood, where she pulled some of these things from. So we dip into her childhood. She came from Chicago, from as she calls it, the ghetto,
The hood. The hood.
the ghetto, you know, and she already had that entrepreneurship mindset as wanting to be a babysitter, because she said, I need to get me my own pocket money. I need some money in my pocket. And she went from there. And then also dealing with sexuality. She was into women during that time period, practicing the lesbian lifestyle in the LGBTQ community during that time. It wasn't called that back then, you know, it was a
No.
whole different type of lifestyle. And then another amazing thing that you guys don't know about Lord is that she actually, well, she calls it dyke, but she was dressed as a man. She used to be like a male, dressed up as a male.
I was a drag king.
The drag king, but she looked good. Okay, she looked good. She dressed up as the drag king. And she had the mustache and everything. I gotta see if I got a picture in this book. Got a picture in the book. But she was dressed up as a drag king, but she always, I don't know, in a sense, was almost like playing that almost like father role, even with like playing like house and stuff like that. You were like really good at doing that. And she took on this whole persona. And as she continued, she pulled that strength, because remember, as women, we have we tap into our male energy and our female energy sometimes.
That's good.
And you know, as she grew up, she pulled from that in order for her to stand at the table now. Because there's a point where you saying you were going and you were talking to people with contracts and different things like that. How you pulled from that, you know, the being a God,
In the past life.
In your past life, pulling for your past life, in order for when you're doing government contract or just sitting at the table as a boss. You know,
And
talk
so
about that.
that's good that you were able to really get that out the book and see that, because you know, it's unfortunate how many of us women have grown up in households without their father. So this is one of the added blessings that I feel like I have, is that I did grow up, even though I was in the projects, low income, my father was present. You know, we weren't welfare, we were low income. So we got the added benefits of Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps to kind of help supplement the fact that we were a low income family. But my father got up to go to work every day. So I had the image of a man that, you know, came from that traditional, you know, being born in 1910, that traditional, I'm the provider, you know, my wife is a housewife, she's at home with the kids, you know, so I never had like a babysitter in my house. My mother pretty much was always home, ready to feed us and do whatever she needed to do. So having that base, I know added some value to some of the things I experienced thereafter. But, you know, to speak to the women that didn't have a father, you know, it is about finding a male that you can learn to glean me into, even have as a mentor in your life. I think there's added value in that, that can help walk and talk you how a man should be. Not someone that was, of course, that's interested in you. If he is, that fine, that can work out fine too. But my point is that, leaning in and having some man, just pick one. You can even just pick a celebrity for that matter. There's several of them out there that are doing great things on their YouTubes and just speaking wonderful, powerful words. Facebook, I've even seen some young men speaking about what it is to be a great man and have a family and so forth. So it starts there, right? But when I think about my means of going and growing in that thing, is because I did take a lot from my father and my brothers and applied it to this what I thought I was born this way, lesbian lifestyle of a dyke. I didn't like, women that were looking aggressive was like, that was like not interesting to me. And since I'm considered a pretty girl, thank you, mother and daddy, because I had nothing to do with that. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I would get approached sometimes in clubs by these, these hardcore dykes. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. And I would put that whole body language on. Hold up, man, I ain't doing that with you. You know what I mean? I'm like getting, well, I bought you a beer. Like, no, here's your money back, because I don't roll like that. I'm like you. But they like, well, you don't look like me. Well, bottom line is, I don't need no dude. Okay? That was my attitude. It was real strong and real aggressive. But looking at me, you didn't see that. So after a period of time, I began to really tap into what I got from my parent, my father specifically, and my brothers, and put that on when I got out the Marine Corps. Why? Because I got tired of somebody looking at me thinking that I would be interested in them. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking for a lady, or a woman that wears lipstick. I don't have no lipstick on. I don't have no earrings on, but still I was pretty, So I hardened myself up a lot more on purpose in order to be able to be identified in that community as what I was. Mm-hmm. I got tired of trying to explain, look, dude, you need to get up off me, because I ain't the one. Matter of fact, did you notice her over there? Because let's see who's going to get her first. I'm tired of having to play this little game with these young ladies. And after a while, my walk, my talk, my appearance was perfect. I no longer dealt with that. Definitely by the time I got into cross-dressing, and I'm calling it cross-dressing because I would dress like a man, but I was performing on stage.
These are some of the pictures that
They're showing. The one with the mustache, that is me. Lord Jesus have mercy. Glory to God, he's so good that I made it through. But, and people would, it was amazing. I had that experience of being Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye, Will Smith. Those were my main characters on stage.
She actually performed. She really got into full character.
Got paid. It was a paid. It was a hustle. Again, being an entrepreneur, it was a hustle. I traveled with it. Now that she's kind of out there, I'll say it. I met the Queen. I've been from New York to Key West, Florida, and some places in between, my own city, Chicago, performing in that capacity. Maxwell, matter of fact, that was another character I did. I had to buy a wig and everything to be Maxwell because I had little hair. But I love that Maxwell song. Y'all know that song that came out and it was a big hit. I jumped right on that song to perform it. But the thing that was interesting about it though was that they never thought I was a woman.
Wow. So
that's when I say I put that coat on, I really had adapted to being a certain way, where no one would just assume. And at that best, performing thing, I wouldn't be strapped down. I wore like athletic kind of bras, always to kind of be loose, never perky. A bra would be perky. That would be a no-no, right? If you live in that dyke side of the house. But when I'm on stage, we learned how to wrap them good. It just looked like I had nice pants.
Yeah.
I had straight girls that would be after the show, come up on me and everything just to find out, oh, she's a girl. Now they're embarrassed, right? Erica, imagine that. You sitting with your straight girlfriends at the table and you like, ooh, he is hot, girl. Susan, I'm gonna go over and introduce myself and get my phone number and then find out I was a chick. You like, ah!
Well, I will say this, the mustache was very convincing.
Yeah. I had to look at it twice. I was like, I said, wow, because you really became this character.
I became my character. And
you-
that was my Luther Vandross appearance. With Marvin Gaye, I had a beard. And so I was taught the trick by one of the drag queens who studied drama to use a cork, a wine cork. So every night before stage time, I'm sitting with a wine cork. I always collecting them. And that gave the, the fuzziness, the cork, instead of like drawing it on with like a mascara, which I started with, and an eyebrow pencil. I started that way. But the actual cork gave that texture
Oh.
life on my face. I was like, oh, so yeah, it did. It looked like a full beard. I mean, it was wonderful when you think about it from that perspective. I was good at what I was doing. I studied my characters, and this was before YouTubes and video and BET was all that big then, but I would study my characters from any concerts so that I became them. No different than the males that have been doing this for years. We just only know them to do it. The Tina Turner, Diana Ross, the Patti LaBelle. I mean, they know exactly how to do those. So I was no different. I treated it the same. It was a professional job. So I wanted to do my best. And then between the women that were straight that were coming for me, then I had the gay guys, the real feminine ones, the ones that
They really thought you were a guy.
on this, hey guy, those, they coming up to me, how you doing? Just to find out I'm a woman. Oh my God. So that was some real revelation for me to say, I'm doing this thing right here.
But you got so good at it, and this persona, and it was like people knew you. Like when you walked down, it was like you had this whole persona, and you even had like groupies.
Yeah, right. I was a celebrity in my own right. I mean, I didn't pay to get in anybody's club. I mean, that's Lair, and to see your name, up, and at this point, I mean, I've done a lot of things in my life. I model professionally, as I just got finished saying. So, I can't say that I went to like, getting a big head kind of thing, but I must say that during that era of my life, before, the Lord started getting at that heart, I was a bad chick,
Exactly.
bad dude, whichever way you want to say it back then. I knew I was, because I was doing something that no other woman was doing. No matter where I traveled to, it is not like it was me and a bunch of girls that was on stage performing in celebrities, being a character. They might have been out there performing, but they taking their clothes off and, they're dancers.
Yeah, but you were full on performing entertainer.
Yeah, exactly. They were doing a lot of that here in DC. They still
Exactly.
do. They have the dancers show up at the club, but I kept my clothes on, in other words.
Well, I could say there was some similarities because I had dealing with, mine's happened like after dealing with my divorce, tapping into being a bisexual, being in that messing with women and stuff like that. And it was a phase in my life, and I had a point where I actually was a pimp, which I found that some similar things in the story during that time, because things were going kind of crazy, but I did make a whole bunch of money, and I took care of the ladies that were with me. But that was a phase in my life that I went through, and I was like, girl, I said, some of this stuff you talking about, I'm like, girl, go ahead and
set me free. Look at emoji. Set me free. Let me go and tell my dirt. Because it's called growing up.
Yeah, and
you're telling me that you also had a little tribe of ladies that used to sell out, rent out, whatever. To say it nicely, I don't know. I didn't grow up.
They were doing their thing, and
you managed them.
And I managed them. I was a madam during that time period, but and learning from that, because that's also, in a sense, is another thing of leadership, because you don't want them to be abused like some other people. You want to make sure that they're going to be in that lifestyle. You make sure that they're good and they taken care of.
That's correct. And that is well stated. Thank you.
Exactly.
That's the truth.
And because they get abused and all kinds of different stuff, but learning from that's one aspect of that. And I've been in the hood. After my divorce and going through some of the things, and also too that I dealt with some trauma. So with that, all the different aspects of my life I took from that for the leadership that I am now, and also with the military. You know,
Yes, of course.
that we deal with there, because they always tell us drive on, and we kind of have to be hard too, you know. But even in like an African American environment and family, when you come from it, it's like you wear the shield of being hard, you know. Especially as a woman, you don't want to get punked, you know.
No.
You know, so it's that thing that we have. But also as we grow, we start bracing more of our femininity and stuff and tapping in that. And I see you when you transition, and this Apostle Mike the Apostle.
Yes,
He played
the Apostle Mike Freeman.
Yeah, he played a big, immense role in your life when you were going through your transition of getting out of the LGBT community, even though you still support, you know, the community of people, because they support you. And but you coming out, getting back married to a man, and just going back into a heterosexual relationship, because sometimes transition was still like a hard thing, getting back, like, how do I even do this? You know, it's a
Yes.
whole transition, getting back into that. But Apostle Mike definitely played a big influence with your transition, and as you continue to grow, you
Continue.
talk about that relationship.
And that gets into a little bit about what I said earlier, that, you know, we as women need to find also men that we can admire, that we can adapt to having as mentors in our life, whether they are, you know, directly mentoring you or you just watching their life. And he is that man in my life, and will always hold that ground. Him, along with his older brother, Pastor Dwayne, and they co-pastor. He co-pastors with Pastor Mike. They are both men that are from Southeast DC, for example. So right off the top, there was this, you know what I mean? They talking my kind of talk, you know, every time when they speak, it may not come out, you know, proper and decent. You know what I'm saying? Some things.
Exactly.
They from the street. So, you know, because sometimes he'll look over and go, is that a word? Like, but nonetheless, just awesome men that are living their life based on the word of God. And they are men of God, and they're preaching and teaching on it. But just, you know, to just have them share their stories, and how they treat their wives, and how their wives treat them, and what they've done to get through things. You know, being a really living witness in front of people so you can glean from and take it. And, you know, to me, it's just foolish, you know, Moji, you know, we're military-minded people, so we know what it is about training.
Mm-hmm.
The United States has the strongest force because of training. You know, we train and we train and we train, and we get a mindset, and we get understanding, and we just can operate automatically. So being under the teachings of Pastor Mike, Apostle Mike Freeman at Spirit of Faith Christian Center has allowed me to sit there and just lean off of every word he's saying, and then taking the Bible as a reference point. So it's not like I'm just listening to him, but the Bible says this, and he's living this, and that's his result. Oh, I want some of that. It's real simple. I want some of that. And
Exactly.
you know, I can tell you just a recent story, you know, and he knows about, you know, a very large sum of money coming into my hands within the past couple of months, because I'm now 100% service disabled veteran. But he
Come on now. Come on.
there.
Woo!
I got there. Praise the Lord. Since 2012.
Come on now.
Long time that they owed me for. And he rejoiced about it, even to the point of making an announcement in one of the services, you know, about one of his partners getting that kind of money. But at the same time, we had this small meeting like we're doing now with about maybe 15, 20 people on it that are leaders facilitating these sessions, which I'm a part of. Mm-hmm. Laurie, is that you? I said, yes, Pat. He said, shh, I didn't want to tell, but boy, I want to tell everybody about what has happened to you, because he knows what was going on with the attack. Mm-hmm. And to see me go through what I went through. I mean, if I was to overestimate maybe $60,000 to divorce somebody that I wasn't married, that I wasn't with any kids and no property, no credit card. I mean, we had nothing together. And for me to turn around and get a check like I got, you know, whoo, did I get all my money back and some? Yes, I did.
Amen.
At the same time, his point of like, you fought the good fight of faith. And I know that that's his point, and I know that that's the truth, because no matter how weak I felt at times, how much I was able to keep standing up based off of those principles. I don't know if I got off point with you or not, but at the same time, I know it was because I kept going on Sundays to get what I needed, on Wednesdays, listening to it over and over again, you know, doing what I needed to do. And yes, he is a major, major mentor in my life, and he's a man that will always be married to Dr. Dee. So I don't get that twisted. Some people get that stuff twisted in their head. Ooh, no, he got a wife already, just know that. But I love the example that they both serve in front of us that we can lean in on. So to talk about that saying, going back to what I said earlier, all of us as women, you know, whether it's in our family or not, we need to find men of substance and glean from them whichever way we can in order to be better women to our men.
Exactly. And as we said earlier, this is our masterclass that we do every month. And we have our speaker today, which is Laurie. And we talk about her book today, As My Leaders Go, So Do I. And she's an amazing leader. She's the CEO of Civility Management and Solutions. And she's also a Marine veteran. And congratulations on her 100%, because we know the struggle, honey.
Yeah, that's another challenge in itself.
And when she met the attack, she was going through a vicious divorce where she had a partner, which was her husband, and he wanted to sue her and take her for her whole business. He wanted to
be in jail.
Put her in jail and defame her name, mess her up all on social media. This man was vicious. And I still saw her showing up at events. I still saw her driving through it, and she did not break a sweat. Even though she was going through it, she kept telling herself that, you know what, I got this and God has my back. And as leaders, as women in general, there are some days where we feel like the weight is on our shoulders. We don't know as leaders, are we doing the right thing? But put faith in God and understanding that, you know what, we said it might have been the worst day in our lives, but we've been in worse days and we made it through because of God.
Yes.
So
that's good.
I admire what she's doing. So I'm gonna open up the lines. You can raise your hand if you want to ask Laurie a question, and then Laurie will pick whatever question she wants to ask to the people for whoever's going to win the book, which she'll sign up for them. But I want to talk to you about. Just want to say her mantras that kept her through her journey. She said, and this came after she had a situation where, and you know, some people that dealt with government contracts or dealt with business in general, you do a deal with somebody, you think they're going to do the right thing and they're going to break bread, and they end up giving you a short end of the stick. But she took that as a lesson and a learning lesson. She said, okay, I got this little bit of money, but at the same time, next time you see me, I'm going to get more than that. Next time you see me, I'm going to be stronger than that. She said, I am the head, not the tail. I am above and never beneath. I am the lender, not the borrower. The wealthy of the wicked is being transferred to me. Do not fear, for God is with me. God will make a way of escape. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. God will never leave me nor forsake me. Be angry, sin not. And sometimes, you know, we get angry. You already know that. But she said, sin not, do the right thing. Yeah. And she said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And April has her hands up. So April, go ahead and open up your mic and go ahead and ask a question to Laurie.
Ooh, Laurie, I'm on fire right now. I do want to apologize for not being able to have some eye contact, but sis, I just want to hit on a couple points. So growing up as a child, definitely heterosexual, but I saw the parallel between your story and mine. Now, my father was not in my life. Very strong women, my mother, grandmother, auntie. So I had the role models, but I saw women as being weak and the men being dominant. So I had to gain that. So when I did the role play, and I'm glad you mentioned that, I had to be the daddy because the daddy was in charge. The daddy made the money. The daddy, you know, dictated the rules. Yeah. You know, and so that is the role that I had to take on. And maybe because I saw my mother as a single parent doing both, maybe that was it. You know what I'm saying? Even though she wasn't my father, but she had to hold it down, be sensitive, and all that kind of thing. So I saw the parallel between the stories, but totally not the same. And then how we use it now today in the corporate world, or even how we use it, you know, during our time in the military, and that hardness. And Mo knows I talk about that a lot of times. The hardness almost killed me in my relationship with my children, because I became so hard that I lost the nurturer that a woman is. That a mother, now I don't want to say that a woman is, that a mother provides to a child.
Yes, I follow.
So that hardness, my children were robbed of that, because the hardness is what I needed for survival, because I was traumatized as a child. So it was all about survival. So I just appreciate you. I can't wait to read the book, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you for being here. And that role playing, that's exactly it. Because in the end, you know, I ain't no man. I wasn't born no man. And my pastor says it best, and it was revelation for me. I'm like, oh my God, that is so on point. He said, if you ain't got a womb, use a man.
Come on, Laurie, come on.
Don't get it twisted.
And that is so important in my healing. Laurie, I used to say I had the biggest balls at the table that the men couldn't. I thought I was starting to walk funny. And seriously, he is absolutely right. And if it wasn't by God's graces and a lot of the same scriptures that you hold near and dear, I needed those to heal. I needed to know that kind of love, because so many people had hurt me.
Yes.
And without that, I'm telling you, and I think Mo said, I would have been vicious. Absolutely. I would have been badass, but not in the good way.
Not in a good way. And it is about taking all of our life experiences, right, and using them to our advantage, that makes us become leaders. Because, you know, even though I was a leader in a lot of stuff that wasn't good for way too long, I was able to take all of those experiences, though, and bring them to the table today, you know, because I know how to look a man in the eye and be like, you know,
come on.
I mean, you know, I'm not, you know, but at the same time, I also know how to look a man in the eye.
I like that change right there. You see how she just flipped the script on you real quick?
So, and that is that challenge, you know, that we as women, especially in our community as a whole, you know, because you bring up very good points, you know, not having men in the house, but having these strong women, you know, at the table, and making sure their children's lives was right? And yet at the same time, that femininity, that gentleness, that a man that we would want as a husband is looking for, ain't that?
Yes.
You know, and so in some ways I do believe, not my second marriage as much as my first marriage, that I was still too rough. I mean, you know, dude, you need to get together. Yeah, I mean, failure is not an option for me. And you know, when he would talk in ways that just didn't make sense to me, I'm looking at him like, you got to shake it off and get it together. And at the same time, I was so busy being the doer. I was so busy being the one with the balls in the house that it allowed him to just sit back and go, I ain't got to worry about Laurie got it. I ain't got to do this. Laurie got it. Laurie got it. And as much as I'm a team player and I present that, some people will take advantage of it, because in all things, I'm a nice person. I'm really a sweetheart. I know that about myself. That's my heart. But I don't take no stuff either.
Oh no, you don't.
And so that's that like you say, that combination that we can have, you know, as women that have gone through what we've gone through to survive. Key word, like you said, survive. And then learning how to make it work for us instead of against us. Because now if I'm sitting at the table, a lot of times I'm sitting at the table, I may be the only woman at the table, or I may be the only Black person at the table. It's not uncommon for me now. Am I comfortable? Yes. Even to the point now, I smile when somebody come in and give me water, you know, or ask me, do I want something to drink? And I remember that was just me not that long ago. That was my job. So, you know, and it just makes me smile to the point of my growth, but it's humble to say, okay, now you show up. Back to that emoji, right?
Yes, exactly.
Sitting at the table, I'm going to find something to say. You know, if it ain't doing nothing but repeating what I think I heard you say, but putting my own little spin on it.
Exactly.
Just make sure that it's clear that I'm at the table and that I am a leader and I have something to bring and I have something to offer.
Exactly.
It is about finding that balance, April. It is definitely about finding that balance because we want to be attractive to people. That's the key. We don't want to turn people off, and every time you walk in the room, they're like, here come Laurie. She got on my nerves. Really, I mean, that's taking you nowhere. I don't care what you're doing for a living. It's taking you nowhere. So, you know, all of us have to fix our heart and try to find that happy space about allowing us to show up as the light to other people, no matter what the situation is.
Exactly. Lisa, thank you for joining us. Do you have a question for Laurie? Lisa, you can unmute yourself.
Yep, she's on.
Hi. No, I do not have a question for Laurie. Laurie and I work together at Civility, so I'm very
Lisa. I know that, Lisa.
so much for asking. It's so nice to meet you. How do you pronounce your name?
Yeah. Oh, Moji Sola, or Mo for short.
Mo. Okay. All right.
She
Nice
like
to
Mo
meet
for
you.
sure. I like Mo too.
Yeah, but she's actually, the reason why I let her call me Moji, well, April calls me Moji too, is because she says it right. Most people jack it up, so. April will be like, Moji!
I wanted to go back to what you were saying about the mantra of what I say out of my mouth all the time.
Uh-huh.
Something that happened with that enemy partner that I was working with. That same contract ended up coming out attached to another contract, and it made it a larger contract. I didn't have a problem going after it as a larger contract. I think it was like 10 million. But you had to have a GSA schedule for those that know anything about government contract. And I don't have that yet. We found a company that I already knew and inquired and asked them would they be willing to be the prime. And sure enough, we won that contract. So, you know, that wealth of the wicked being transferred. So we still have those employees and a few more in that same space where that man actually treated me unfairly and he's no longer there. And really to show you how much the enemy can mess with people's mind, somebody had the nerve to tell me, he said, you know, I went and took his customer. I said,
Wow.
Did not say that out loud. They said, yeah, he said he took your customer. Now, I'll introduce you to them. I'll make a way for you to get the $4 million contract. And when I go back and get that money that you didn't let me have, now I done took your customer. Because some people, they just want to be whatever in the head against you. And that's what we started earlier, talking about people in jealousy. You know, you have to deal with jealousy. And what is it my pastor say? Whether you're doing something good, bad, or nothing at all, people are going to talk about you.
That's true. You ain't never
So at least try to be doing something. So when they talking, it has some legitimacy to it, whether they lying or not. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Somebody else got a question.
Angela, you can open up your mic to ask Laurie a question.
Hi, Laurie. This is me again. I try to stop you every single time I see you because you always tell me something good.
Hi, Miss Angela.
I usually, I saw you one day, and then I saw you with Mo, and then I saw you another time, and I stopped you. We were in Montgomery County at an event, and I asked you because I was new. You know, my business is only 3 years old, and I asked you, what should I do? And you said, no matter what it is, show up. She's like, you said, show your face in the place. And I've been trying to get to every single, so I'm glad when I run into you because I know I'm in the right place. So I thank you for that advice. I got my MBE. I just got my my DDOT. So I'm scared to do an RFP. I have to admit it. I haven't done it. I haven't done one yet, but I do have all my certifications. But I love when I see you walk in the room. I can't. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
So I thank you for the advice. I can't wait to read your book. As a matter of fact, Mo, can you type that out so we on the thing so I can
In the
pick
chat?
it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
On the website. And actually, Lisa chimed in, so that kind of opened up a door about something that I want to share, Moji, that we are doing a conference. I have a secret weapon actually online with me, Dr. Erica.
Oh, yes.
her company, Inspired to Excel, actually got introduced to her through Deanna. It's all about a connection, right? And again, connection of great women. And we were talking, and we have this conference plan, but we said, well, we just got to push it off, right, to next year. And Lisa is the conference manager overseeing it because, of course, we can't have a conference right now. And it was Dr. Erica and her crew that said, well, why don't you have a virtual conference? I'm like, virtual conference, didn't think about that. And voila, we put a virtual conference in place. It takes place in October, actually 10/10/20.
All right now.
Saturday. It's from 11 to 3 o'clock. And so we're pulling things together, but it is more so about womanhood, leadership, overcoming obstacles, and a lot more that's going to be shared. Dr. Erica and her two colleagues are going to be speaking. They have their profession. I'm not going to even speak for her. I want her to speak for herself to tell us about all three of them have their PhDs in specific areas that lean around women, leadership, and education. But the fact that they were interested in doing this virtual conference with my book as being the root of it was just more than an amazing to me, especially as PhDs. You know, I'm going, oh, you know, the whole feeling like I'm just a girl from the streets of Chicago. I got PhDs wanting to support me. So that shows you growth, right? And it also goes to show you that it's for anybody as long as you stay in your game no matter what, you know, and do what you're supposed to do. Because I ain't sit down and write this down on my, you know, you're supposed to write your vision, make it plain. I didn't have 3 doctors attached to my life working with me in promoting not only the book, but promoting the message. It's the message. The book is one thing, but it's the message that we all can really, truly achieve what we want to as women, but we all need to understand that we're gonna have some challenges. You know, the Bible even says that. It doesn't say, you know, you might experience something. Now it says that when, you know, when you go through something, I have made a way of escape. So, you know, and Dr. Erica, did you want to talk real quick in general about some aspects of the conference so that the ladies are aware of it? And having the book in advance is going to be added value because they're really going to pull from that in being able to share things with women.
Absolutely. First of all, Laurie, thank you very much for inviting me to be here. It's really an honor to hear more of your story, learning more about you. Of course, I've read the book. So yes, Inspired to Excel is a leadership development firm for women. We specialize in entrepreneurship, organizational effectiveness, and personal development. And a very long story short, we met the wonderful Deanna Boyd at a conference in November and began a conversation about perhaps some work that we could do, continue talking, and eventually met Laurie. As Laurie stated, they were planning to do a really tremendous in-person conference in July. And COVID has you know, interrupted a lot of things, but
yes,
when
it
it has in a lot of ways, but it don't stop us, right? We can still show up. I'm gonna borrow that from you.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we began talking with Laurie, our tagline is we are inspired to excel, empowering women to build businesses, lead organizations, and live their lives with purpose. We felt immediately that Laurie is doing the type of work that is really a prime example of what we want to be doing, because it's not just about the work and the money, it's about doing so with a sense of purpose. We know that you have, and I don't want to say too much, but let's just say that you have some philanthropic goals going on.
Yes,
okay.
Of course.
So it's about more than just the work, more than just the money. It's about empowering, engaging, and using your story in order to help others and uplift them. Now, when we got a hold of your book, oh my, because honestly, I do a lot of reading, of
like
course.
Moji, you acting like Moji now.
But I had no idea that you were going to go that deep and be that transparent. And I think that my partners were also really not, I mean, pleasantly surprised, I want to say, but people don't usually do that. You're talking to us right now. You've testified in Congress. You speak to groups all the time. And some people might think, well, do you really want them to know all that about you?
And I'm thinking like Angela should be thinking that now. When she read that book, she's gonna be like,
When you read that book, I'm telling you, you be like, for real?
same girl?
Because every time when you see Laura, you're like, you know, you had this with son, because she comes in, she has her game tight, her T's crossed, everything. And when you read the book, you like, okay, everything,
really?
her demeanor, how she comes across, how she does everything. But you know she's a comedian too. She's funny too. She left all that out. She's hilarious.
Yeah, there was something in the book about your mother hitting another car and you and your brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We turned her into a criminal for a moment. It was just fun. We like, Mommy did something bad.
that was funny.
You know, our
That
mothers
was
could
funny.
never do anything bad. You know, we have that, but we convinced her to do something bad. That was way cool.
Yeah.
But Dr. Erica, we may have to talk with Moji regarding sharing this role with, I mean, my goal would be with Michelle, talk with Michelle S. Jones as our hostess.
Oh, hostess with the most.
I think she might have showed us a little something, Dr. Erica. Yeah, did you see? Yeah, yeah, you with me? Yeah, we may have to talk with her on that, and so she can participate.
That sounds good. That sounds absolutely great. So
you've had a chance to check out a little bit now too.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, like I said, you know, I support Laura. She's also in our group with She Wins and stuff. You know, we share different things and business opportunities for women, grants and different things like that. You know, she doesn't know that, you know, Laura inspires me a lot through her journey. She does such an amazing job with what she does, and as a woman veteran and everything that she does. So I definitely support her, and I support all women in their journey, whether it's corporate, whether, you know, you're transitioning from being married to not being married, homelessness, because I'm a former homeless veteran myself. So that's definitely a big thing to me. But before we get deep into that, I really need to give a winner one of these books. But you know, Dr. Erica, I love what you're doing. It's inspirational.
Thank you. Same to you, sister. Same to you.
And anything that, you know, She Wins, the movement can support you ladies on what you're doing, let us know. And April also does live it's therapy scenarios that deal with community and life and the environment and news, and we act them out so we can actually visually see what the issue is and different ways on how we can solve these problems.
I love it.
So, Linda, do you have a question for Laurie before?
No, ma'am, but I just want to tell Laurie, thank you for sharing your story with us. And I look forward to reading your book as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I could tell you that it's got some serious stuff in it. It's got some raw stuff in it. There is some laughter that's in it as well. And it is got principles inside of it. So it's a nice combination. And I wrote it with a lot of, I want to almost say love attached to it, because I was so grateful to be able to be talking about it and knowing that I made it through. You know what I'm saying? So the love of God was just on me about that book. It was like, you know, you're just such a good father, you know? And to be able to put it in words by sharing my story. And like you say, Dr. Erica, being so transparent, and that can be risky. Because, you know, I'm going and growing and developing this multi-million-dollar business, which is going to, you know, verge off to other things that I'm going to be doing. I am a serial entrepreneur. And to just have something out there that people could come against me is like, you know, people going to talk, right? And I just need to accept that.
But you know what? If you own your story, what can anybody even say to you?
And that is so true, because a pastor said that too. He said, if you tell your story before they get a chance, there's nothing they can say.
Be a distraction. God, I thank you.
Yes.
I thank you, Lord, that we are strong enough in our word with you, that we understand exactly what this is, and that we appreciate the fact that we can stand against it, run it away, push it away,
Woo.
and keep on moving and say, take that, and take that, because we will be victorious and we win in every area of our life.
Amen.
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 Amen. Glory to
We're gonna
God.
go ahead and give away this book.
So how you want to do that?
Linda, Angela, and April. So you can come up with what question you want to.
I'm asking a question.
Yes, you are.
Okay. My question would be, wow. Tell me what you used in order to defeat the enemy.
The word of Jesus. The word, girl. That's what I do.
And I
Prayer.
second that.
Yeah.
Every
Of
day.
course,
my
they all
whole
gonna have that
family-
answer. That may not be a good question.
No,
Okay.
it was an excellent question. She
Okay.
can just pass me the book after she get done with it. I'm honored to buy the book. Trust.
That's a harder question. Name one of the affirmations, one of her spiritual words that she lives by through her journey. Name one of them.
Do we have to raise our hand or what?
Yeah,
I can do all things that Jesus Christ who strengthens me.
April jump right
Be
on it.
angry, sin not.
Yeah,
All right
Be
now.
angry,
that was
sin
definitely my
not.
favorite.
You see how
No
you-
weapon formed against me shall
Amen.
prosper.
I am the head and not the tail.
Above and not
Linda,
beneath.
not the
I
bottom.
am more
You
than
did
a
good,
conqueror through
Moji.
Christ.
I don't
Come on
know,
now.
man. This is really hard. Who answered first? Okay.
April jumped out there. Andrew said, do I have to raise my hand? And April jumped out there.
It's up to
Since she
it's up
said
to
nothing,
you.
you picked the winner.
It's
I'm
up to
putting it on her.
No, I'm gonna put it on Dr. Erica. You pick the winner.
Yeah, that's what I said. Dr. Erica, we calling on you. We both called on you.
Okay, you know what? I guess I'm completely unbiased because I don't know anyone, but I'll just say this. The one that really touched my heart was be angry, but sin not.
Amen.
I heard
Amen.
that. That's what I heard, and everything else went blank because that one you gotta
Amen.
keep, or you'll do some stuff based on emotion. Woo!
Yes.
I wrote that one
Especially
down.
as women, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Laurie, I will say as the non-victor in this particular situation, I have gained more than I could have ever, and I am honored to buy the book. And to be able to share this with my sisters who are about us all getting ahead, girl, rock it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we'll also share.
Sales.com.
Okay.
And the conference, Mo.
Yeah, and I guess Lori will send me all the information for the conference.
Yeah. I'll email it to you, then you can send it out to your friends. I know the actual link, Lisa's still with us. The actual link, Dr. Erica and Lisa, I think I have finished in a couple of weeks or so. But for this crew, I definitely want to make sure they get that email invite that you and I talked about earlier, Dr. Erica. I think they'll get
Absolutely.
great input on that survey.
Okay.
Yeah. So Angela, I guess Lori will sign it for you.
Yes, I will.
And
Yes.
Lori, your nails are the bomb, honey. I'm loving that color.
This is part of that growing up as a lady that I like. I even told my team, I said, they so long I can't hardly type, so she's gonna have to break them down just a little bit. Thank you for being.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Very well hosted. Very good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent job.
Thank you. And we
Hey, timing is everything. So we got a new job for you, Moji. So
we bid you all adieu. And once again, this is our master class. We have them every month, hosted by She Wins Network, and I'm your host, Moji Sola Edu, or you can call me Lushy Lush on the radio. And we're here, and we're in all these beautiful ladies right here, and it's always a pleasure to be around amazing, powerful women. And remember, you're only one person away from your blessing. So keep winning and be fearless, ladies.
yes, I received.
Yes.
All right, ladies, have a wonderful week.